Hi, this is the first ever episode of Blossom and Grow, the podcast that helps you start today to create the future selves that you want. I'm going to be talking to you ladies and helping you ladies become and blossom into the ladies that I know that you can be. So, for today's first ever episode, we're going to be talking about habits, and we're going to be talking about how habits, whether positive or negative, can affect how you are today and influence the person that you will be in the future. Let's get into it. So, I looked up what a habit is. So, I know we pretty much all know what a habit is generally, right? But sometimes over time, words kind of lose meaning, and sometimes it's a little easier to understand what the word is when we actually look up the definition. So I looked up the definition, and this is what the overview says. It says a habit is a routine or behavior that is repeated regularly, often occurring automatically, subconsciously, with little to no thought. Basically, a habit is something that you basically do subconsciously. It's something that you just do. Like sometimes you might say like, "Oh, I did that out of habit," And you can have a positive or a negative habit. A couple of examples of negative habits would be um snoozing your alarm. So say you're the type of person who hates getting up in the morning. You're always snoozing your alarm. 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. Now 30 minutes then went by. Now you late for work. And you're off to a bad start for your day. So that would be an example of a negative habit. With you waking up late, you might not have been able to eat breakfast, so now you're at work hungry, you're late to work, so maybe you're being written up, maybe you have kids, you weren't able to get up on time to get your kids ready for school. It's a whole line, it's like a domino effect of, consequences for that negative habit and or eating unhealthy. When you eat unhealthy, it can affect you physically, it can affect you mentally, and those things aren't good. So, negative habits can also have a terrible effect on your relationships too. Um, Sometimes when you have those negative habits, let's go with the example of not waking up late, but getting to everything late. um Maybe you have an event that you need to go to or someone that you need to help, and you're not able to show up for them on time. What you're saying to that person is basically like, oh, my time is better than your time. I really don't care about your time. It doesn't matter to me if you had something to do because I'm gonna show up late. I'm gonna show up when I want to show up, and that's not really a good look, and that can rub people the wrong way sometimes, and you can burn bridges and everything because you're not showing up on time. And this isn't just like a one-time thing. This is you doing this all the time. If you have negative habits in your life, you might find yourself in a cycle. Every year, you find yourself doing the same thing. It seems like life isn't moving. It seems like you just are stuck. So that might be because you have negative habits and tendencies and you just keep doing the same thing. In order to see change in your life, you have to be willing to put in the work for yourself to grow. But I know that that's what you want to do because you're watching this video. I applaud you for taking the first step and making sure that you are bettering yourself. With habits, those are basically like a foundation of your life. In order to build anything in life, you need a strong foundation. So, say if you have a building and you want to build this building, would you rather build a building on sand, or would you rather build a building on rock? Because say if it rains, that sand isn't a strong foundation for that building and it's gonna come falling down. If you build the building on rock, then it'll be easier to sustain the building. And it's the same thing with life, basically. So if you have healthy habits, which would be the rock, then it'll be easier to implement new things into your life and, grow and add things on. For the example I just gave about the sand and the rock, was from a verse in the Bible, basically. I basically paraphrased it though, but it's Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 through 27, if you guys would like to go and read that. But yeah, if you have positive habits, it'll be a lot easier to add things into your routine. Just like what I said with the foundation, um, those positive habits have already set the tone for your life. So, for example, like how I said that you might be waking up late to work all the time and now you're behind schedule and everything. Say you have positive habits and you always get yourself ready the night before. You're packing your bag, you're ironing your clothes, making sure you're setting your alarms, and then when your alarms go off, you're getting up to go to work. You're making sure you're getting your kids up on time. You're making sure, you're doing all of the things, and it just basically makes your life a lot easier. Say if a promotion comes at work, you might be the person that they're looking at, because guess what, you coming in to work on time, you making sure you getting there early, you getting your stuff done, you doing it. Say if you're a single woman and one day you want to be a wife, you want to have kids and everything, right now while you are single, while you're in this season of, you know um just working on yourself, bettering yourself, you should have habits and a routine for yourself. So that way when you do have a husband, that way when you do have kids, it's a lot easier to incorporate them into your life versus you just are living no type of structure in your life, just poor habits, and then you do get married and then you do have kids and you're trying to incorporate those people into your life, but there is just a lot of chaos because you didn't have a set foundation. You didn't have any type of schedule for yourself. It's a lot easier to add things into your schedule instead of just making a whole schedule out of nowhere just for life in general. And it's for you and just a ton of other people. I'm not going to lie to you guys. The reason that I gave the example about being late to work all the time was because that was me. I can speak on this all day because it was me. I used to be late to work all the time. That alarm button used to hate to see me coming. Baby, I'm talking about snoozing it for 30 to 40 minutes. I'm tired. I went to sleep late and I need some more sleep. I'm not ready to get up. This bed is calling my name. And it was terrible because, you know, when you're trying to elevate in life and you're trying to reach certain goals, you can't be late all the time. You're not going to get the opportunities that you want. You can't have poor habits because you're not going to get the opportunities that you want. And then if you do, you might fumble them because you weren't able to sustain them because you didn't make sure you didn't make sure that you were prepared prior to that opportunity presenting itself to you, you know? So, I definitely have changed my ways. I am on time. I am not the late friend. You don't have to tell me to be there an hour before just so I can show up on time. No more. That is not me. So, I have a little bit of homework for you guys. I promise it's not anything crazy. It's just a little something. But to help you guys think about what positive habits you want to implement, and just ways that you guys want to change to better yourself, I just want you to write down 3 things that your future self does. um, so that could be having good time management, or having great communication skills, or prioritizing your health. Those are 3 different things. Write those down and then just write down how you would accomplish those things. So for example, prioritizing your health, maybe that's going to the gym. If you're not a gym person, just being more active, dancing, um making sure you're meal prepping, eating healthier, with time management. Maybe that's making sure you get your things together so that you can be places on time, or um just think of different ways that you can, better yourself, and just how do you want to be? How do you see yourself being in the future? And just work to create that person, because once you start thinking of those habits and changing your habits and changing your ways, you will accomplish those goals. You will create the person that you want to be. It would be impossible not to. There's no way that you're working on your communication skills and, your time management and prioritizing your health, and you're not going to get the results. You just have to stay consistent, you have to stay dedicated, you have to stay determined to, you know, reach that goal. Um a couple habits that I implemented into my life that I've changed was I personally prioritize my health way more now. Before, oh, I was not going to the gym. You would not catch me in the gym. I did not like it. But now I'm in the gym every week because I'm like, I need to prioritize my health. That is something that is really important, very important to me. Something else that I've changed, being on time, so time management. Yep. So yeah, and if you guys want, you can go ahead and just leave your list in the comments. And let us know what's something that your future self does, some things that you want to change, and how you plan to change them. And I know that you can do it. You got this. And I just hope you have an amazing day. And I really appreciate you for tuning in. And if you want to see more videos, you can come back every Tuesday. I'll be dropping a video. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. Bye.